Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 has got everyone's hopes up of not just showing new races in the trailer, but also new features on existing races, with many being shocked at the huge updates that this is teasing for our CACs, aka our custom characters, in the new Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3. Hello everyone, it's me again, Steve Doje here, and very quickly I wanted to show and answer many questions pertaining to the quote-unquote Saiyan and human glaze in the trailer. We're also showing that Xenoverse has actually been holding back updates for Xenoverse 2, so 3 would get all of these new hype updates. I think we can all agree that this is the much better choice. So, in Age 1000/Xenoverse 3, it's actually been shown both times featured next to Dragon Ball Super's Galactic Patrol Arc promos, and those promos quickly go over Dragon Ball Daima as well. It's safe to say that since she's obviously from the demon realm, again, might not actually be a demon, but a glint, just like Supreme Kai, and this naturally opens the door for both races being playable at the same time, since they're basically just subspecies of each other. Now, in case if you're doubtful of this, I do want to remind you guys that Rinsu is Supreme Kai's sister, and she looks way more like a demon than a Kaioshin. And since this incorporates the new Shintani art style, we might actually be able to create characters that look as diverse as Rinsu, Dobora, Toa, Supreme Kai, and more. In fact, in Super Dragon Ball Heroes, this race was actually just called the Dark Demon race, and they have clearly already shown in this trailer they will not limit it to a category of just evil-looking demons. So perhaps the unique Awoken skills for this race could be fully embracing the dark or revealing a more light-side kind of power-up. Okay, now we're on to the Saiyans, and I've delved into this a lot already in my previous video about custom characters in Xenoverse 3, so check that out for a more in-depth analysis, because I'm going to make this one really quick, otherwise we'll actually be here all day. In the trailer, the Saiyan of the Pompadour also has a Saiyan tail, and this confirms two things already. One, moving Saiyan tails that come with the race, a huge reminder that even NPC filler Saiyans don't have Saiyan tails in the game, and there's only 2 shots from far away in the background of all the Xenoverse 2 cutscenes in 2D animations in both Xenoverse 1 and 2 that shows them having Saiyan tails, and one of them even gets changed to a belt in a later shot. So it wasn't intentional, they really just don't have Saiyan tails in Xenoverse 1, 2, and finally, it's showing up in 3 on obviously a main character, so it's basically actually just a feature now. And 2, his Pompadour hairstyle shows that not only are they willing to experiment with more unique hairstyles for all the races in this game that can have hair, by the way, but also for Super Saiyan hairstyles. And obviously, it's going to get really crazy when they go Super Saiyan, because we already know that their hair actually spikes up in this game. 1, Dragon Ball The Breakers already has this feature, and 2, Age 1000's original trailer already showed John 1000's hair spiking up, and he has a very, down hairstyle. People still ask this, even though there's literally proof that we have SSJ hairstyles now, so I just wanted to address that really quick. We will get crazy looking Super Saiyan hairstyles, especially if the hairstyles are anything as nuts as a Pompadour being featured in this trailer. We are actually going to have some very, very unique character designs in this game. Now, I do want to talk about a race that's not explicitly shown to us in this trailer, but does exist during the time of Age 1000, and obviously Super Dragon Ball Heroes, an android race. Android race is something that people have been asking for loads in Xenoverse 2, and while it never got added to Xenoverse 2, it actually did get added to Super Dragon Ball Heroes World Mission, and not only did it get added, it got unique transformations for being an android race. Now, before anyone goes, Steve, that's crazy, that's too much, they would never add an android race. Well, since Gamma 1 is apparently showing up as a main character in this game, and we know Xenoverse loves doing mentor characters, it's safe to say that if you're gonna be an android, there's a really easy mentor character. It doesn't have to be 17 or 18, because obviously they're very busy, unlike Vegeta, who actually just wouldn't mind standing around teaching you Super Saiyan all day because all he wants to do is fight. Gamma 1 easily is the android mentor, and that's just without a shadow of a doubt. Now, at base, androids obviously just look like human beings, but they most likely had unique features like ki absorption, etc. We even see this because one of their transformations is like a weird half cyborg mode where their robot side really shows out, and then their final form, their equivalent of like Super Saiyan 3, was like straight up turning into like a bio android. Now, will Xenoverse 3 go this far of the android race? I don't know, they might come up with something entirely new and unique for them, because again, Super Dragon Ball Heroes doesn't have to be followed exactly, but I do want to point out that it's very convenient that both Super Dragon Ball Heroes and Dragon Ball Online basically just aren't playable anymore, and they took everything from Dragon Ball Online and put it into Xenoverse, so they're most likely going to sweep up Super Dragon Ball Heroes and add all of that stuff to Xenoverse as well. They've already taken the art style and some of the character designs and the unique costumes and all that other stuff. Wouldn't be too crazy for them to go, let's just grab the android race too, screw it. Want to really quickly go over Earthlings, because people are going to say, but Steed, what about Earthlings? Well, let me tell you about Earthlings. They are literally Saiyans, but they just don't transform. I imagine the more unique thing they'll do for them is change their Awoken skill. Power Pole combo is cool, don't get me wrong, but in terms of all the things the other races get, it is very lame by comparison. Now, if humans got a max power mode, everyone would get a max power mode, so they're gonna have to come up with something way more unique for humans. Maybe they have like a Great Saiyan Man kind of transformation or something. Anything unique like that. I do want to point out that Brett might not actually be a Saiyan, but a human. The main obvious point of this being him not having a tail when the other featured Saiyan has a tail, and we know John 1000 at least goes Super Saiyan, so obviously he's a Saiyan, but Brett might be an example of, you know, human characters instead just having a modes change rather than, you know, a big, like, glowing Awoken skill like every other race would naturally get. And since we're now on the point where we're going to talk about the more crazy looking race designs that didn't really feature so much in this trailer, I do want to say this again. I mentioned this in my previous video about custom characters. They didn't show any of the other races in great detail because they never do for these first trailers. Go back, check Xenoverse 1's original trailer, you can only see Ace. Go back to Xenoverse 2's original trailer, it only shows the XV2 protagonist. Only later in another trailer do they finally show Avakax, and even then, the XV2 male Saiyan protagonist still gets most of the screen time. I did want to say that now because people are probably going to forget. I go more in depth on it in, again, the custom character video, so please check that one out. Namekians. Namekians are easily the fastest one to cover because obviously they are Namekians. Namekians can be very diverse of the way their antennas look, don't get me wrong, and we might actually get different facial structures for our Namekian builds. Main example of this being obviously Orange Piccolo, because Orange Piccolo has a very unique different face. Alternatively though, we could get unique faces with a transformation to orange. Now again, it's not in Xenoverse 2, everyone talks about how they missed the ball, if they should have done it, yada yada yada, and that's extremely fair, but for Xenoverse 3, it's very obvious and very easy to just give Namekians Power Awakened and orange right here in this game. This is the easiest way to do it, creates more hype for the race than just slapping it on as an add-on transformation in Xenoverse 2. That probably won't get used because Xenoverse 2 was already so old that no one is really going to just be using at that point. But for Xenoverse 3, having this be a launch day unique new transformation, dropping alongside Giant, by the way, because I want to remind you, Piccolo can still go Giant when he's orange, so we still get Giant form. Maybe we'll get Orange Giant as its own separate category, or maybe Namekians will finally get what Saiyans have with multi-stage transformations. First you have Power Awakened, then you have Orange, and then Orange Giant mode when you have extra bars of ki. Something like that. So again, Namekians, really quick, really simple. They'll probably just buff the Awoken skill and add new customization features to them, like with every other race. Oh, now Frieza's, here's a good one, because we already know that Frieza's basically aren't getting anything new unless they add a multi-stage transformation for other stages of the Frieza form. Now, again, just like Golden form, it'll probably sacrifice some of your design to go up your stages in some way. Maybe they'll only just do either go Cooler stage or Golden stage, right? It could be either of the two. But one thing I really wanted to address, since everyone's obviously going to ask it, and you guys let me know your opinions on this too, Black Frieza, that's just not going to be in the game. I just want to let you guys know that. Black Frieza is not going to be in the game, not because it's bad and no one likes it, but because it's not going to be animated when the game comes out. It'll probably get animated after, so it'll be a DLC transformation, but I need you guys to be fully ready for Black Frieza to not be available at launch. I don't want to hear anyone crying about how they didn't do it, because they still haven't done Ultra Ego and a bunch of other super popular stuff, simply because it hasn't been animated yet. Now, obviously, we're getting the Galactic Patrol arc, and when the arc is fully over and done, the next thing they'll move on is to the Granola arc, and the Granola arc is when Black Frieza would feature, and we'll probably get Granola in the video games, Gas in the video games, Ultra Ego Vegeta as a transformation, True UI, and obviously Black Frieza playable, which would extend, obviously, onto the Frieza race themselves. I don't think they'll add it at launch. It wouldn't make any sense. It would generate more hype to make it something that shows up later. Not to mention, again, they only add these things when they've been animated. They're definitely not going to rush it. They're not going to add it in the game at launch. So again, please understand, they need to make money, and it doesn't even help them to do it at launch. Margins, just like the Namekians, they'll probably get, again, updates to their general design because they are from the Demon Realm also, so there's just more to add to them. Also helping the fact is that we got Majin Ku and Majin Du. Now, they're definitely way less true Majins than Majin Buu. Again, they're only a few percent of Majin Buu's actual makeup. But regardless, that still opens the door for pretty unique character customization for Majins in general. Now, will you be able to take a Majin's antenna off and just give them a weird, like, Cybermen head like Ku has? Maybe not. I don't know if they'll go that far because that might mess with some animations, especially because hair physics are going to be in the game now for all races, and Margins will probably get the hair physics for the antenna, the way Buhan has hair physics for his antenna in Xenoverse 2 as well. So I don't know if they'll just go for the completely bald look because it might mess up the physics. But when it does come to unique transformations for Majins, I imagine that one, they will probably still add pure form into the game, maybe change it up a little bit, just because, you know, the game's engine is different and the gameplay will be massively different. But one unique thing that we at least got to see in Dragon Ball Daima is do weirdly replicate Super Saiyan 3. Now, Majins might only just get that. They might get a weird Super Saiyan 3-esque power-up. I think they'll probably try and make it more unique by having Majin's moveset change entirely to just a bunch of bizarre ranged attacks with their long arms. Additionally, Super Dragon Ball Heroes, if we are going to steal even more from that game, does actually have a unique transformation for Majins. And again, while it doesn't look different, it gives Majins access to like a wizard-esque kind of power-up, kind of like how what Babidi had. You know, Majins use magic, they don't really use ki for the most part. So again, they could get a really weird magic, unique, wizard-based moveset, but Majins have been something that the Xenoverse series have always struggled with. Even if you go back to Xenoverse 1, they had no idea what to do as unique passives for Majins. The passives are kind of awful, and in Xenoverse 2, they're also kind of really unbalanced and really weird. They're not exactly specific, so maybe this time for Xenoverse 3 they'll have exactly down what they want to add for Majin characters, but I think going for either what Majin did in Daima, or for like the weird magical wizard power-up that can give them, you know, unique features and a unique costume would be really, really cool, and probably ideal for most people. And that is it for the races and what I believe will be their Awoken skills. Now, some of them obviously are really obvious, and some of them they kind of have no choice to do. A good example is Saiyan's obviously going to get their unique spiked hair, their Super Saiyan tails, etc. And the other ones that they obviously don't have a choice but to do is to delay Black Frieza so it can be a transformation available later when the arc actually gets animated, but it won't be something that they can do now. Same with some that they kind of are 50-50 on and they just have to steal from other games, which would again be Super Dragon Ball Heroes, just taking the androids and the Majin power-ups from that game is pretty much their only choice. And for Glints, they can pretty much just do anything because they're all from like the demon realm. They have like super infinite powers. They can just make things up for those guys. But I do believe that is a good place to end the video. Again, I do hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did enjoy the video, then obviously, yeah, please leave a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe, it greatly supports the channel. Again, let me know what you think in the comment section down below when it comes to all of this, because transformations are a very sketchy topic of some people in Dragon Ball. Some people believe that transformations should actually not be available to us. For example, Beast and Ultra Instinct. There's a lot of people that think it's weird for us to have Beast and Ultra Instinct. But if you think it's weird, then get ready for us to have it again in Xenoverse 3, because they gave it to us in Xenoverse 2 already, so we're getting those too. And I think that's a pretty solid place to end the video, guys. Again, I do love you all. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you fellas all next time. Take care, and peace. Bye-bye.